join Ambassador Kennedy Tonjo West, who is a former senior special assistant to the former governor of Bayelsa State on Niger Delta youth matters, now Senator Sierra Dixon, and currently is also the national president movement for the survival of the Izon ethnic nationality in the Niger Delta MOSIEND. A very good morning to you, Ambassador Kennedy. It's wonderful to have you join us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, first things first, let's talk about the situation in River State. We hear that there has been an impeachment process that has begun by the Speaker of the House of Assembly in River State alongside 26 other lawmakers who had signed that paper on the impeachment of Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, Professor Odo. What do you make of this development, considering that tensions have been escalating in the state for over a year now?
Well, I think that the River State House of Assembly, led by Right Honorable Martin Zabniwule, it's on the fast lane. Really cruising on the fast lane, and this is not supposed to be their disposition now, knowing fully well that there has been few litigations and all of that. Today, even if we're not comfortable with the Supreme Court's judgment, that judgment has come to their favor, as people who were elected by the River State citizens in their various constituencies and understand the perception of majority popular view of the electorates within that within their constituency, they ought to have given Pete a chance. Now, the issue is, Mr. Governor, go and represent the 2025 appropriation bill. Go and set the bill, the budget again. The governor, haven't seen the true certified copy of the judgment, swung into action. Even before that, he had promised that he is going to comply with whatever tenets the judgment spells out, which he is following religiously. But the House of Assembly, under Right Honorable Martin Zabniwule, seem to be on the very vindictive angle that they probably want to take their pound of flesh or make it look like there is a victor and there's a vanquished scenario. But in all of this, it is the River State citizens that are suffering right now. I mean, what exactly are you writing? That you don't want to see the governor? You have not created the chance for you and the governor to meet. This is somebody who happens to be part of your family. I mean, for crying out loud, anywhere you have three persons working, in a corporate setting, in a family setting, there is bound to be argument. There is bound to be misunderstanding. There is bound to be heated quarrel. But how long that quarrel goes on depends on the party. At this point in time, Fubara, the governor of River State, had said, okay, listen, let us talk this over. But you will still hell-bent on making sure that you want to take your pound of flesh. At this point in time, it is very difficult. The truth is, let's tell ourselves the truth, it will be very difficult for you to impeach the governor. It is difficult for you to impeach the governor.
Why do you think it will be difficult for the governor to be impeached? That is one. And also, why do you think that the Matthew Ameole-led faction of the River State House of Assembly is now hell-bent on dragging Professor Odo alongside her boss for this impeachment process?
All right, but basically, there is bargain. Like, Seaton said that their politics is a class war. It is a war without bloodshed. And then Karl Marx would say that it's a class war for the rich distribution of resources. Probably what they are trying to do is, let me see how we can pull the string. If you can't get Fobara, maybe you can take Odo by your side. And probably Odo is hell bent that, hey, I may be a woman, but I think I have an integrity to keep. And I have to stand beside my boss. Just the way a Parliament Banigo stood with Inyeso Wike. That's the way Odo is standing behind a boss. And there's nothing wrong. They may have made should also fall on her. That's on one side. On the other flip side is that when you think that you want to impeach the governor, it has a process itself. It has a process. And the process doesn't just end on the legislators. It also gets to do with the judiciary, which is another arm of the government. And they will show their superiority. They will show their independence in this matter. So you just can't drag them by the nose. You can't teach a man and cheat him for too long. It is not everybody that could be boss. There are people who will stand their ground and say, no, this is injustice come into play. And we want to make sure that you don't get what you want. So you don't just think that because Supreme Court has adjudicated case to your favor, so therefore, when you come to the state, it is going to be this is going to be the same. No, remember that the Martins Amewule's.
Hello, Ambassador Kennedy. Are you still with us on the line? Well, it may seem
fashion as far as it is. Whatever you are doing, you should understand. Well, you should understand that the people who voted you is also there watching. They're also watching. So it is not just you. It is not just the cabal you form. People voted you. You didn't just vote yourself. And those people have a say in the government. So you don't just wake up and think that, oh, because I had a feud with the governor, and then today the judgment is to my favor, so I need to. But anyway, it is also probably a way of upping their game, so that when they go to the round table, there is a hard bargain for them. So they throw their chip. So probably that the issue of wanting to impeach is to drive a harder point when they get to the bargaining table.
Now, in terms of this Supreme Court ruling, we all agreed that the governor had already started implementing or has agreed to start implementing some of the rulings made by the Supreme Court. One of which is the local government council polls that the governor had agreed to hold again, and also the payment of all salaries, arrears of salaries and allowances and bonuses of the 27 lawmakers, in this situation. However, following this logjam and also following this notice signed by all 26 members of the House of Assembly, the state government, via the office of the SSG, had claimed that there was no such notice received in correspondence from the House of Assembly issued to the governor. Now, we all know this is public knowledge. In fact, the 19 scenes of Governor Fubara, as described by the lawmakers, is already in the public domain. So why do you think that the SSG and, of course, the government of Governor Siminalayi Fubara continues to deny this reality that is currently unfolding?
Like I said, this is still part of the back and forth. Recall that about a fortnight ago, the governor also had transmitted a correspondence to the House of Assembly, inviting them for a meeting. And shortly after then, some of them came up on social media and said that it was not properly addressed to them. It was not addressed to them. They only saw it on the social media. So there was no need taking such stuff serious. So this could be part of the kind of a social media play. So at this point in time now, social media is now the vehicle or the tool for which correspondence are being passed to opposition people who seem to be in loggerhead. If you want to know what the other person is saying, or you just go to the social media. So it's a social media address now. But you don't expect the government to take it very seriously, because whatever you say has to do with processes, and processes has to do with media, with people, and not on the social media. So if they have said that, there's nothing wrong. They're an arm of government. They can take it to the government house and deliver it to, if they don't get an acknowledgement for it. But right now, they can't, the federal government, the state government does not have hands on that. They only saw it in the social media. So it's not something they should take very seriously.
No, but Ambassador Kennedy, the lawmakers had mentioned that their action to serve that notice of misconduct to the governor is in line with Section 188 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which states that 1. The governor or deputy governor of a state may be removed from office in accordance with the provisions of this section. 2. Whenever a notice of any allegation in writing signed by not less than 1/3 of the members of the House of Assembly stating that the holder of such office is guilty of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of his office, detailed particulars of which shall be specified. Now, the Speaker of the House of Assembly shall, within 7 days of the receipt of the notice, cause a copy of the notice to be served on the holder of the office and on each member of the House of Assembly, and shall also cause any statement made in reply to the allegation by the holder of the office to be served on each member of the House of Assembly. Two things here. The lawmakers have accused Governor Fubara of gross misconduct. And now here the law says that if any such office is guilty of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of his office, he can't be impeached. These issues are detailed in the Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended. There are provisions as to how a governor or a deputy governor can be impeached. And as far as we know it, Governor Fubara has faulted or flouted some of these rules. And the lawmakers are going by the law in a bid to ensure that the governor is ousted out of office. Do you still think that Governor Fubara stands a chance against the law or even the lawmakers?
You said if same copy be served. The process of service is what you also said that the SSG had claimed that they don't have. They only saw it on the social media.
Exactly, that there was no proper correspondence.
Yes. So if to the eyes of the Martins and Mewule led assembly that that the state government have been served, in the eyes of the state government or from the flank of the state government, they have not been served. The same way that the SSG wrote to the assembly inviting them for a meeting, and to the SSG, he has served them, and they claim that they have not been served. So you see that this embargo still continues. But beyond this, these actors should understand that they swore to an oath to preserve the peace and unity, protect the lives and citizens of the state.
Yeah.
If at this point in time that they get themselves so emotionally worked up that they are blind to objectivity and reasoning and feel that until Fubara gets out of the way, they have not won, then they should also know that the Rivers people too will not sit on their oars, because there are women, there are people who are praying for the state, for crying out loud. Probably you need to come to River State and see what these actions are telling on the socio-economic polity of the state. Everybody lives in fear. The state doesn't have a good aura right now. Investors are leaving the state in their droves because of perceived or looming danger that could be coming. And then the House of Assembly felt that given this window that they have won or whatever that the House of that the Supreme Court is to their favor, do not tilt the path of peace, then it is very worrisome, the kind of people that we put in politics. Look, for crying out loud, the Supreme Court may be to your favor. It may be to your favor, but how you handle it. But from the outset, people like MOSIEND, like us, have said that, look, this thing has to do with more of a political solution than a legal solution. And here we are. Even when the Supreme Court has given the final ruling, you find out that you still do not have a legal solution to it. Even if one party is saying that, look, I am going to comply to all that is prescribed in the judgment so that peace can reign. So therefore, I will think that these people should shield their sword. And on the part of His Excellency the Governor, I think that he should review and reevaluate his relationship with these people. These are people that have been his friends before. These are people that have worked so very closely with him before. These are people that they've been doing things together. Even in family, there are heated quarrels, there are heated arguments and like that. But with the point of realization that you need to know that, look, we are in.
Well, Ambassador Kennedy, while we all agree, Ambassador Kennedy, are you there with us?
We need to get ourselves out of this everybody's angry.
Well, while we agree that Governor Fubara and the members of the River State House of Assembly have had this squabble for more than a year now, we cannot entirely rule out the influence of external forces, in this particular political war that is currently raging in the state. We all know how estranged the governor has been with his former boss, who is now the current minister of the FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, and on many occasions, the minister has voiced out his displeasure concerning how the governor, in quote, turned his back on him and reneged on most of the agreements that they had agreed upon before assumption of office of the governor, Siminalayi Fubara. In this situation, do you think that there is a way to salvage it? Now, beyond just having talks with the River State, members of the River State House of Assembly, do you see a possibility of perhaps the governor healing up or fixing his relationship with the minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike?
Well, before we get to that point, this whole thing escalated because the former minister, the former governor, now the current minister, and his estranged son, the current governor, both of them did not act well. They did not act well in this manner, and that's the truth. The minister, Chief Nyesom Wike, did not act as a father. He was carried away with anger. He was rather being vindictive, and didn't listen to himself. He didn't appraise his relationship with his son and how far they've come. He did not consider that. He didn't consider all the battles. Yes, he may consider all the battles he fought to make sure that Governor Singh comes to power. But he did not also consider it with love. He considered it with deep hatred and anger, probably being disappointed. And then the governor too did not also consider that this is a man who have done so much for me. This is a man who I have had very good relationship with. This is a man, because you asked, I keep asking. I said, let us take it that Governor Fubara was not the governor, and then somebody else is the governor. Which part will Governor Fubara toe? Definitely he will toe the path of Nyesom Wike. I can assure you that. If he was not the governor and somebody else was the governor, because of the relationship that they've had in the past, he will toe the path of Nyesom Wike. And that's how so many others have also told the path. But at this point in time, he sits in an office where, he's learning by the ropes, knowing fully well that as far as politics is concerned, he's just learning. So whatever he's doing is on the field. He's learning it on the field. It's an on the field assessment that was given to him. So you have a lot of political ox who will come in and brainwash him, and then there are a lot of people who would have almost slided into a sort of oblivion, because they were not part of the FOBRA's Ascension program, and that the minister Nyesom Wike is now holding sway at the center, and then his political godson, the governor, is already in the state. So at this point, as politicians, they know where they can go to, but just to respond to their, the political data, oblivion, or whatever you call it. But the moment they saw a crack, they all jumped in and continued to widen the gap and make sure that these two persons don't speak. At that point in time, one would have felt that the governor would have sat back by himself without the advice of anybody and take an introspect of his relationship and how far that they have come. Now I can tell you that the relationship between Governor FOBRA and Nyesom Wike, if you, as a reasonable person, you know that there have been some times probably that people may have been envious of the closeness between Nyesom Wike and Governor FOBRA. As at that time, maybe he was working as maybe an accountant general or something. And I said, hey, look, these two people are too compatible. Let us break them. I'm quite sure that such kind of statement would have gone in the past, trying to see if they can bring about disaffection between the minister now and the governor.
There, Ambassador Kennedy, the general notion out there is the fact that Barrister Nyesom Wike's godfatherism and strong iron fist in River State is what Governor Siminalayi Fubara is trying to dismantle and destabilize, citing that the former governor is no longer a governor. He's now minister of the FCT, and that he should focus on the FCT and allow him handle the affairs of the state. That is the general notion that everybody has out there. Isn't that the case?
No, that is the general notion, like you said. Everybody has that impression. But I want to let you know that if you said that Nyesom Wike is tight-fisted, he has some kind of sit-tight policies, and that's what he's trying to do. You also ask yourself that if this was his lifestyle, then Governor FOBRA has condoled him all this while, and then just now you cannot again. I mean, for crying out loud, FOBRA knows how to handle Nyesom Wike because they've been friends. Where is that level of tolerance that used to be there? Where is that level of patience that used to be there? Where is that level of superior argument when these things happen? Now, this is not the only state where you have issues of godfatherism and how it plays out. It happens in several states, but in some other states too. The way they manage it, they've been managing it. They have been managed. Not that it's not happening or such attitude is not coming to play from time to time, but they have been managing those issues. So how come in River State? Probably it's escalated in River State because FOBRA, isn't a politician before now. If he's a politician, he would be able to know how to listen to everybody and come up with his judgment. And for right now, like I said, it is important that he reevaluates his approach. It is still his family. That's what I can tell you. The people fighting him are still his family. All the things that the minister Nyesom Wike was talking about before FOBRA came in and all of that, it is happening directly in his presence. All the press interviews that he has been granting and saying that, am I the owner of River State? Is this person my child? It is happening to him. I think that the minister should go and get a play. Yes, it is vexation to the spirit, because somebody you fought so hard for, somebody you thought that will do whatever you want him to do. But that's the dynamics of man. It is easier for you to control 1,000 cows than to control 10 human beings. They all have their mindset, and that is what you should know. But my take here is that both Governor Fubara and the minister should be able to look for a place to reconcile. If I am Governor Fubara, I will call Nyeso Wike, the minister. I will call him. If I need to appeal to him, I will appeal to him. Because when some of these my friends who are here today, were against me, he stood by me. Now, for you to be a good politician, there are 3 sets of person that you must work with. The man who worked with you yesterday that is not working with you today, the one that is working with you today that did not work with you yesterday, and the one that is about to come to you. Now, take for instance that you have some persons who were strongly opposed to his governorship, his ascension as governor. They are working with him today. They are nobbing with him today. So they are his friends. The people who were out there in the rain, took all the bullet shots, and they are not working with him. They are being seen as being in the wilderness now. And in such a situation, the moment they think about such things, they will definitely put up a last fight. And I want you to understand that Governor Nyeso Wike, as far as Rivers State is concerned, is fighting a battle for his survival. He's fighting for a battle for his survival. Unfortunately for him, the way you see, is his own person that is now fighting him. But these are the tests. These are the challenges. These are the challenges that they ought to go. Sometimes people fight and they get to know themselves better. And I can tell you, challenging Nyeso Wike, the people who are working with him right now that are so seriously obnobbing with him, yesterday they were his arch enemies. But today they are his friends. So if he can adopt those people, if he can see those people as his friends today, he should also know that whatever is happening in Rivers State is a test for him and his godson. And him and his godson need to fix it out. And I think that this issue of play between the assembly and the state, the moment Singh talks to his godfather, I'm quite sure that they'll be able to, and that is where to start this whole thing. It doesn't mean that if you call the governor and you call the minister, you're a coward. No, you're not doing that. If you can comply to the tenets and the prescriptions from the Supreme Court, you can as well also approach your former boss. Former boss. It has been happening. It has been happening, not today. So he's not the first person that will do that. But I think that the more they realize that they need to bury their ashes, the more they realize that they need to toe the path of peace so that Rivers State can survive, so that the people in Rivers State can survive, because everybody's brandishing gun here. Everybody's brandishing.
Ambassador Kennedy, will come to the issue of brandishing guns, will come to the issue of the Ijaw Youth Council and all the threats that have been flying around in Rivers State. But let's talk about the president, President Bola Aswaju Tinubu, who has been trying to wade in and salvage the situation in Rivers State. However, some people have accused the president of not really being deliberate about putting an end to this debacle in Rivers State, considering the fact that Rivers State was instrumental to a large extent in his emergence as president in the last general elections, and that ahead of 2027, he's also aiming or gunning for Rivers State to deliver the same amount or even more votes like it did the last time. However, picture this. The FCT minister is a PDP man. The governor in Rivers State is a PDP man. Now, the FCT minister, being in PDP, is a minister in an APC-led administration. Do you think that somehow this fight, this frustration that is currently on the head of Governor Fubara is not being quenched by President Tinubu due to the fact that he knows Fubara might not be able to deliver the votes he needs ahead of 2027, considering the fact that the governor is part of the PDP?
Well, you should know that the president is a politician. Is a politician, and he understands politics to the finger of to the tip of his finger, and so he knows that he can trust the minister more than the governor, and that being that the minister who was in a different party fought to deliver the state to him, including the governor. So he has been tested. He has been tried and he has been tested, and he has proven his mettle during the terms of deliverables. So there is every tendency that he will align more to the minister. Yes, irrespective of the fact that the governor is on ground. And in terms of wading into the matter, you should also know that the president is a very pragmatic politician, a shrewd politician, who believes that there is seniority. If there is seniority, then you should also respect those people who are ahead of you and had made it happen. We saw in the likes of Ambode, where he did not even agree with the former president, who also made some kind of entry for him to forgive and allow Ambode. So if such a scenario, such person, who the former president, had also pleaded on behalf of Ambode and he refused. So what makes him feel that he's going to support Fubara, being that he knows how Fubara came. However, this is not about who the former the president is supporting. This is between Governor Sim Fubara and his political father, the minister Nyeso Wike. Two of them can sort this thing out. I want to, because, all right, let's take, for instance, that another Rivers State is expecting that the issue of defection that is somewhere around the High Court or so will come. How will that play out? How will this? So it will continue to be an embargo. It will continue to be an impasse in the state. But if these two persons can sit down and say, hey, I think in the Bible is also prescribed, there's a time for everything. There's a time for war and there's a time for peace. We have really, overheat the polity. And the funny thing is one family, just one family. It is the Nyeso Wike political family. It is the Nyeso Wike political family. And that's where I continue to blame, and I continue to say that the minister ought to, take himself away from, being cried by one side, the legislator, and say, hey, you see, the governor we brought is not doing this, so therefore there is this, and he say, yes, this boy, he ought to play the role of the father. That is what, even if he says, I have called him and he refused to pick my call, he has not exhausted all avenues of making peace.
Now, the accusation is not whether or not the president is acting as a father in this case or not, but rather he's wading into the situation. He's holding talks. He has on several occasions called out, Governor Fubara to make sure that he makes amends with his former boss and also with members of the House of Assembly in Rivers State. However, the general body language shows that he's tilting more towards the side of the FCT minister than towards the side of the governor in order to ensure that there is stability in the state.
Of course, that's true. That's true. Because when the elders in the region recently paid him a visit,
Pandef leaders.
Yes, he has waded into the matter, and then that somehow there was a breach, in terms of compliance, and then that got to another set of litigations again, and a lot of people were not comfortable. But because you are the president of the country, and because the Rivers State is a choice state, Rivers State is a choice state. Economically, politically, it is a choice state, for crying out loud. You would have still taken another step, one more step again. And it doesn't hurt. It would not waste much of your time to call the parties to order. And that's what he ought to do. But probably he's also be careful, because the last time there were a lot of mudslinging at him, there were a lot of, unprintable statements at him, and let it not be as if he's feeling, crisis. But yes, people also say that. With the terms of reference in the last peace deal, it was clearly shown that it was tilted towards the favor of the minister and the members of the House of Assembly. And that's why people don't feel comfortable. And then going ahead to compel them to sign that peace deal. But that peace deal somehow got dislocation along the line of implementation, and they had to now go back again. Now, this is second time again. We even have a God who says, I'm the God of second chance. So I don't see any reason why President Tinubu will not also wade in for the second time, because he needs to exert his foot on the ground and say, look, we need to put an end to this.
One of the messages,
and I think that can also help.
One of the messages that the president had sent out to Governor Siminalayi Fubara through leaders of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum who had paid him a visit is that the governor should stoop low to conquer. Now, this, in all ramifications, is tilting towards the fact that the president is asking the governor to make amends and perhaps fall in line with some of the requirements that powers that be are asking of him. Do you think that Governor Fubara will eventually stoop low to conquer, considering there's impeachment news hanging over his head?
When you say stoop low, I think there is other phrase that we can use. Like I said earlier,
this were the president's words, not mine.
I'm coming.
The president actually said this.
I said before now, I said that the governor should reevaluate his approach. He should reevaluate his approach, his relationship, and take a more he should take a more reconciliatory and more strategic approach to seeing that he reconciles with his political family. And I think all of this going on probably is, like I said, the ministers and his team are upping their game by every minute being strategic with their approach in ensuring that they take a upper hand in this fight. They take an upper hand. Now, also know that who are the people advising the governor? I said it doesn't hurt if the governor will take up his phone and call his former boss, or if possible, go and see him. And there's nothing wrong. It rather shows maturity. Even if you go, I would have preferred that instead of going to the House of Assembly and then you are denied access, it would have been better if you go to see the minister and then you are denied access. It would have been better. He knows the route. Governor Fubara knows the route. This is his family, for crying out loud. When they've been sitting down and doing a lot of things, those of us in the public, they know. So they've come a long way. And so there should be that area of tolerance, like I said. There should be that area of patience. And then there should be that area of a strategic reconciliatory move that ought to be done. And I think that's probably what they are even driving at.
Now, this reconciliatory move that you're calling for, on whose part should this move be done?
Oh, it has to start. It has to start with. Right now, it has to start with Governor Fubara.
Okay.
It has to start with him, because if you also recall if you also recall the story in the Bible where a young man approached his father and said, hey, give me my inheritance and let me go and start investing. And finally he went and he squandered it. The father was also crying for his missing child because he couldn't hear anything from him. But the son, where he was not feeling comfortable at all. And he had to come and meet his father. Probably that reconciliation, could be something that is most exciting. But I can tell you that the day Fubara and Nyesom Wike will finally meet, there is going to be tears of joy, because Fubara, maybe Nyesom Wike is also fighting to get his son back. Maybe he's fighting to get him back. Yes, he may have done some wrong, some bully stuff, some, very draconic move. But nobody, I can tell you, nobody knows Nyesom Wike more than Siminala Fubara. Nobody. He knows where to. There are times, I can tell you, you can also ask, there are times when he could be angry with some people. It takes the one appearance of Governor Siminala at that time, to go and meet him and appeal to him. So this time, it is happening to him directly. It is happening between two of them.
He's the only person that can salvage the situation by returning to his father and asking for forgiveness.
And it's not just that only him. And when he's doing that, there are people in this state, in this country, that I think that the minister listens to. I think that the minister listens to. And I think Fubara should make that approach. Yes, you see, there's certain things you must also understand. There are a lot of people who comes in front of television, like me and some other people, and make some permutations, make some focus, and make it look like, and talk so much. They are not actually in any way influencing decisions. They could not influence the Supreme Court decision. They could not influence any decision, but they can make this thing so look like, hey, I have the ace. But I can tell you right now that it is very important for the governor to also go back and see how he can be able to, because one thing is very important. It is Siminala Fubara's administration, not Nyesom Wike's administration, not any of them's administration. How he handles this matter, not how Nyesom Wike handles now, how he handles this matter will display leadership. Leadership is not just being that I told a part of peace. Sometimes leadership could be that you swallow the bitter pills and make some frantic effort, that in the eyes of the public.
Ambassador Kennedy, let's talk about the security situation in River State. We know how very volatile it is at the moment, and we know that a lot of youth groups and even militant groups have come out to make videos and say that if there is an impeachment process, or if Governor Siminala Fubara is impeached, there will not be rest or peace in the state. Now this is it's quite worrisome. How would you assess the security situation in River State with regards to this issue, and how do you think that certain elders within the Niger Delta, especially members or leaders of the PANDEF, can also come into the situation to ensure that the crisis that is brewing in River State does not happen and even spill over into other Niger Delta states?
You see, this is something that we need to avoid. This is something that we need to avoid. In other states, probably they play politics and also understand, in other states, politics may have human face. They understand at which point to draw the line and then at which point to reconcile. But the way, the way we play it within the Niger Delta is more of an extreme level. You just go to the extreme, and then it has to be a victor of, vanquish. Somebody must win and somebody must lose. Now, that is not how it's supposed to be. And it is putting the security agencies, on their toes. There is vexation everywhere. You see anger in the face of everybody. Interestingly, the governor of the state, he's been liked by all the youths. His sympathy towards the governor is taking, a very humongous dimension, unimaginable, immeasurable dimension. By the day, the sympathy is increasing, the love is increasing, more especially with his peaceful disposition. So if you think that you want to impeach the governor, then also know that whosoever you're going to bring, which I also know that will not be possible, whosoever you're going to bring, will be sitting on the keg of gunpowder. That's exactly it. Rivers State right now is sitting on the keg of gunpowder. And this intervention by Mr. President, by well-meaning Nigerians, is also very important. Now, in the area of Pandef, why I think that the minister of Federal Capital Territory, don't believe do not believe in the peace move by the Pandef, is that this is something they would have done from the very start. This is something they would have done from the very beginning. This is something they would have done. But knowing fully well that when you say Pan 90 Delta, when you say Pan 90 Delta, you have all ethnic nationalities as part of it, But they didn't tell that part. They only came far too late, And then what makes you feel that the minister may not be feeling too safe? He may not be feeling too safe with their terms, because they didn't come with the time they were supposed to come in and address this matter. They allowed it lingered for too long. They allowed it
Ambassador
lingered for too long. And
your last point, please. Your last point before we let you go. Ambassador Kennedy, are you still with us? Well, it may seem that that connection is a little bit disconnected, but that has been Ambassador Kennedy Tonjo West, who is... Hello, Ambassador Kennedy? I'm afraid this is all time will permit for us to have on this discussion, but I must thank you so much. It's been wonderful having this deliberative session with you. Hopefully, let's see what the coming weeks will unfold with regards to the development in River State. Thank you. Well, that has been Ambassador Kennedy Tonjo West, former Senior Special Assistant to the former Governor of Bayelsa State on Niger Delta Youth Matters. Now, he's currently the National President, Movement for the Survival of the Izon Ethnic Nationality in the Niger Delta MOSIEND. Well,